You are live.
Welcome to WagerTalk Today, the gold standard of sports betting shows where we talk the talk and walk the walk. It is $5 Tuesday. We got marquee NBA matchups, college hoops. We got a lot going down. And Dan, you're going to get us started with a lacrosse WTF LFG. We have two plays for clients. You're going to go over one of them, and you love these plays.
Yeah, so like I said to you, I would suggest, I put them in as 3-unit plays for me. So we have one that's going at 1 o'clock and get over at Andy's page, wt.buzz/AL. We got this other one that's going at 4, Andy, and WTF or LFG. We are laying the wood with the Johns Hopkins Blue Jays as they're taking on the Towson Tigers, little in-state rivalry, Andy. And really, you hear at the beginning of seasons, Ralph Michels has come on before and talked about college football teams with a gub, a game under belt, and whether that helps or hurts some teams. Well, in this season, it's seeming like the teams who have gotten off to action early have really benefited, and Johns Hopkins has a game under belt, 17-2 win over Robert Morris. Towson's season opener that was going to be a nice test for them against UNC canceled, Andy, because they are deciding to play lacrosse when it is 20 degrees outside, and that doesn't really work. So a lot of these games have been canceled. Reason for me, Andy, laying this number, I'm confident doing it. Johns Hopkins in this rivalry, they play every single year since they're in state together. Towson has lost 4 straight against Johns Hopkins. Last year was a close game, but outside of that, there haven't been many close games. And it seems to me that early on in this season, Johns Hopkins is a little bit different of a team. Towson also, Andy, last thing I'll say, they haven't covered this number at Homewood Field where Johns Hopkins plays since 2006. They've had 9 tries to lose by less than 4 goals. They're 1-8 against the spread sitting at this number. Lay the 3.5. It goes at 4 o'clock today. Johns Hopkins lacrosse. We following or fading, Andy?
Well, clearly we're following. I mean, the 17-2 beatdown was impressive last week. And yeah, I believe in games under belt. That was very yeah, that was really good from Johns Hopkins. So this should be available on most of your sports books here. Line is holding strong at -3.5. You got plenty of time to put this one in. That is definitely an LFG. All right, we got a lot to get to. Let's bring in Steve Merril while we're doing that. Guys, please hit the like button. It really helps us out. Steve, happy Tuesday. How are you?
Not fading Dan on lacrosse, that's for sure. I was thinking about that because Andy and I did that segment Friday. I'm like, and how in the world would I even make a counter argument to fade Dan in lacrosse? And I will say with the game under belt, I think the only advantage or disadvantage, I don't think it's ever a disadvantage even in football. I think the disadvantage is a couple things. They've inflated the lines in recent years. I don't know if they do that in lacrosse, but I guess the disadvantage would be they've had a full month to prepare for that opponent, where the team that had to play a game only has like a week to prepare for them. So maybe that would be the disadvantage to having a game under your belt and not having one. But it made a lot of sense.
Yeah, and Steve too, and this again is something that you can use across other sports. And because of this whole weather angle that's kind of popping up, you're seeing it kind of happen in college basketball the last few weeks where teams weren't able to travel, were able to travel. Initially, there was a game scheduled for Towson, which was why I wanted to come back in, because it was a game that they got canceled, and it was the day of that the game ended up getting canceled. So it wasn't like all eyes ahead. So I like the point there for sure. And it is something, again, guys, that you can use as a handicapping tool. And that's something that we like to do here. Steve does it in his solo gamers as well. We're going to give you picks here, folks. We're going to because that's what we know you want. But also if we can arm you with some tools that you can use across different sports or to just become smarter bettors. What do we always say on the video, Steve? Learn, earn, win together. And that's what WagerTalk's about, baby.
And that's why they should also comment below and let us know if they agree or disagree with your lacrosse play. I want to know who's on the other side of it. That's more important. You can agree or disagree, but who's actually putting money where their mouth is and playing the other side of Dan Alexander's lacrosse plays? Not me. Not me.
We got some messages. Yeah, we got some messages. It's -2.5 on DraftKings. So
love it even more.
That's why you shop around. Love it even more. Love it. This team that won by 15 last week. All right. Yeah. Steve, let's go to let's do NBA here. We're going to do this Mavericks and Suns team. We're going to do a segment a little bit later on NBA teams tanking and how can we take advantage of that. And, I'm looking at this Dallas team, and I just think they're a lot better than this record. 19-33. You watch them. I mean, Cooper Flagg is just, my God, the sky is the ceiling for this guy. But they've lost some games in the row. In Phoenix, they're right in this play-in spot here. They're 31-22. Easily one of the top three pleasant surprises from a perspective here. So these two teams are facing off. I'm looking at starting lineups. It looks like we're going to get pretty much the majority of the guys. Grayson Allen's out. Klay Thompson's questionable, but they got the Phoenix Suns here at -8.5 over under 228.5. Do you agree with the line makers that says Phoenix should win this comfortably?
Well, we've definitely seen some money move on this as well. Phoenix opened 7.5. It's now up to 8.5. Total has really been hit 226.5 up to 229. So we've seen some sharp money on the over in this game, and some of it might have to do with lineups, who's going to be in. Grayson Allen is listed as out. I saw him as questionable on the odds logic screen, the Don Best screen, but he's listed as out with the noon Eastern NBA report, so he's not expected to play. Of course, Kyrie's been out. Lively's out. As you said, Klay Thompson's questionable. He's probably the only guy. Nimrod, G League. This is a Dallas team that's really been banged up this year. They made the trades last week as well. And yes, they're on a downward spiral, and we always talk about not catching that falling knife. Well, the Mavericks are definitely a falling knife right now. Not only are they 0-7 straight up, they're just 2-5 against the spread, and they're 0-3 against the spread in those last 3 losses. So it's not like they're starting to turn the corner. With that said, though, their last 4 losses came against Houston, Boston, and the Spurs twice. They also played Minnesota and the Lakers, and, a feisty little team called the Charlotte Hornets in between. So they played a tremendously tough schedule. And while the Suns are having a surprisingly good season, this is still probably a little bit of a step down in class. With that said, though, I'm not in a hurry to back a team on a 7-game slide. I do think at some point Dallas will start to play better here in the next month. Maybe with the new pieces, now that the trade deadline has passed, they'll start to round out. But we want to see that bottoming process first on a team that's on a 7-game slide. Should be a focus spot also for Phoenix. They're on a 1-3 straight up, 1-3 ATS slide, but still a solid team overall. And they're coming off a bad offensive game. Really 3 bad offensive games in those 3 losses. 103 points or less scored each of those 3 times. I think they get back on track, though, against a Dallas defense that's routinely given up over 50% shooting recently. And I talk a lot about the value of team totals. If I think it's a good bounce back spot for Phoenix, if we've seen sharp money on the over in this game, let's look at the Phoenix team total up and over 118.5. I like the Suns up and over 118.5. Good bounce back offensive performance tonight. And if Dallas does start to play better, as I think they will soon, that takes a little of that risk away. You can just play the Suns team total up and over 118.5.
Did you see what happened in the Charlotte game last night?
No, I did not actually. I did not see the Charlotte game.
Just brawl. Like
the brawl. I heard there was a brawl. I wasn't sure which
ejected.
game. So that was the Charlotte game. I'd heard about a brawl, but okay, yeah.
It of course involved Isaiah Stewart. They all do. But I got to tell you, this Eastern Conference playoffs, this is setting up for an absolute rock fight with the Knicks, the Pistons, the Hornets now getting into it. This Eastern Conference playoffs could be a lot of fun. So anytime you get Isaiah Stewart coming in, flying off the bench, attempting to maul and mug a Charlotte Hornet. Charlotte credit, man, they did not back down at all. So it was a really, really fun game.
Yeah, he's kind of like the enforcer. He's like the thug that comes off the bench in an NHL game, and that's what you got him there for. By the way, that snapped Charlotte's. I talked about how well they were playing. That snapped their 9-game win streak, which was like their best in like several decades. It's interesting, Andy. I was telling someone else this yesterday. About a month ago, the NBA stats, the advanced stats page, you can toggle like 5 games, 10 games, full season. It was about a month ago, and I put last 10 games, and the Hornets had the best net rating in the NBA. This is like early January. But I think they'd only gone like 5-5 straight up. But they had the best net rating, which is offensive efficiency minus defensive efficiency. It's a really, it's basically who's playing well. So, I thought that was interesting because they were a mediocre team at the time. And now they've since basically they won like 9 straight right after that. So it's something to keep an eye on. It was a barometer of something that was about to happen. We'll see if they come back down to earth or not. 3 of their last 4 games, 41% shooting or worse. So there again, that's a little bit of an indicator sometimes when teams are turning that corner. And I would say be careful with the Hornets over the next several weeks. They're probably due to regress. And they've got, by the way, Atlanta, Houston, Cleveland on deck. And then those feisty Washington Wizards who are playing for a championship, even though they won't be eligible for the playoffs.
I like that Hornets team. I don't know if they regress. I think they're really good. So they'll be a fun team to watch here. All right, we're gonna move to college basketball. We're gonna talk Purdue in Nebraska. Don't know much about Nebraska, except for they're a polarizing team apparently. With are they great? Are they not great? Overrated? Properly rated? 1.5 point favorite here. Basically, pick them over under 148.5. Start with Nebraska. What's your take on this team?
Yeah, I was going to say, first of all, I think the betting markets are a little conflicted as well, because if you check some of the early numbers here, some of the initial books open like 146, 147, it's 148, but most other books open 1.5 to 148, and that's exactly where the side and totals are. So very little movement in this game. And by the way, this is your national TV game. It's 7 Eastern on Fox Sports 1 Tuesday night. Nebraska's for real. I rank them as one of the best teams in the country. I have them pretty much the last several weeks now, my top 10, top 12 of my power metrics, along with Purdue as well. Purdue had lost 3 straight after a 17-1 start, 7-0 in the conference. They dropped 3 in a row against good UCLA, Illinois, and Indiana squads. Gotten back on track the last 2 games with wins against Maryland and Oregon, stepped down in class. But this is another step up in class for Purdue. They did struggle against those other quality teams I mentioned. Barely beat USC, barely beat Iowa. They did blow out Auburn earlier this year, which is one of the class teams they played, but they also lost by 23 against a good Iowa State team. So Purdue's been a little dicey when stepping up this year, and that is something I'd like to look at when we're talking about if a team's a quality like 1, 2, or 3 seed. I'd like to look how they've done against other quality teams. Nebraska, a 20-0 start, 9-0 in the conference up until the last week of January, and then they dropped back-to-back games against Michigan and Illinois. No shame in those losses. Coming into this week, I had them both as possible 1 seeds. I think Illinois will probably end up as like a 2 seed. Michigan, as you all know, I've talked about this a lot. I think they're the most talented team in the country, the most dangerous team. Everyone's like, Arizona's number 1, Steve. How dare you say that? Well, Michigan's the most dominant team down low, both 2-point defense and offense. And when you have to win 6 games in a row in March, I like teams that don't rely on the 3 quite as much and have more interior strength. So a loss to Michigan, loss to Illinois, no shame there. They did bounce back. This is Nebraska bouncing back Saturday as expected with a 12-point win at Rutgers. So 2 solid teams here. You look at how Nebraska has stepped up in class so this year. They beat Wisconsin by 30, and they'd also beaten Illinois. So that was also a revenge game from Illinois. They'd beaten them earlier in the season on the road. I like Nebraska. I think they're for real. And for the fact that they are kind of conflicted in the betting markets, we continue to get some value with them. 2 evenly matched teams. I'll take the home team in this one. By the way, both teams give up a lot of shots from 3-point range. There's 365 teams in the nation in Division I men's basketball, and these 2 teams rank bottom 20, or however you want to phrase it. They both give up the bottom 20 as far as the most amount of shots from 3-point range. They both allow their opponents to shoot almost 45% of their field goal attempts from beyond the arc. So that's going to be an important aspect here. I believe that home teams normally shoot better from 3-point range, favors Nebraska. And also Nebraska takes more threes this season, and they have the better 3-point defense statistically. So I like the matchup here. I think they hit their threes tonight. And I'll take the Cornhuskers here to keep the roll going and move their record this year now to 22-2 straight up and 11-2 in the conference. If you're going to play it, I would lay it in Nebraska minus the 1.5. That's at 7 Eastern on Fox Sports 1.
Nice. All right, Steve, hold it up. Let's see it.
So it is $5, $5. I do that because I have 3, maybe for the first time ever, 3 $5 Tuesday best bets. You know, we used to be allowed to put up 1 play, and I didn't say anything, but I'll say that I said something. I said, no, that's not fair to Abe Lincoln and the legacy of one of the greatest American presidents. We should be able to do multiple $5 plays. So now it is unlimited on Tuesdays, and I'm taking advantage. 2 NBA, 1 college hoops. My strongest college basketball best bet on the entire board tonight for $5, and then my top 2 NBA plays for $5 each. As you know, we've been red hot in the NBA, hit almost 60% the past several months. Number 1 all time on NBA side, best bet profit. And normally it'd be $75 to get all 3 plays tonight. Nope, $5 each because it is $5 Tuesday. No promo code needed. And of course, a bonus free play every day. Every afternoon, I put the last cut for my best bet card up as a bonus free play. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. Get there quicker with shortcut WT.buzz/SM. And if $5 is too much, don't forget about that free play. Once going to be up this afternoon in hoops as well. If you're liking these videos, these free play videos, thumbs up, like, comment below, and I will keep them coming. And let me know who you like Tuesday night in basketball. Include some analysis as well. You know, we'd love to learn and earn and win together here on Wager Talk TV. And Click subscribe. We are so close to 250,000 subscribers. Make sure you're one of them. And click the bell as well so you know when these daily free basketball videos are posted each and every day right here on WagerTalk TV.
It's $15 Friday for Steve over
Tuesday, day of the week. Andy was so excited I filled in
Tuesday.
for you on Friday. He still thinks it's Friday, and I love that, Andy. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Andy, sorry
Steve,
about that bad bet you had in the Super Bowl. We didn't get to talk yesterday. I know you had over 15.5 punts at like plus 1 million. So I feel bad for you there. But I know you're the prop master, but occasionally you miss one.
Yeah,
and he also had over 20.5 field goals and punts combined for plus 2 million. So that was a bad beat, man. That was a bad beat.
Yeah, it was a bummer. 5% on minus 48,000 for a couple to not get married during the halftime show.
I know.
Bummer of losers like all over the place, Steve.
Bad beat.
Bad beat on that one. So,
hey, let me ask you real quick. I don't think
they
don't have live Gatorade markets, right? Everyone pulls that down before the game.
The only spot is now, Steve, I know you guys talk about it on the best betting show ever, like these prediction markets that are just so insanely manipulatable. Those are essentially live until the prop is graded. So that not on a regulated sports book, no. But people were very excited and were hammering that yellow when NBC.
Yeah, so that you get where I'm going with that, right? Yeah, you guys saw that. They had the wooden spatula and they were staring at about the 2 or 3 minute mark. And it did occur to me, like, I bet there is somewhere that has these odds up still.
Yeah.
Hey, but that's the great thing about a market.
There was some local guy that was just like, he was in the bathroom and he was like, God damn it, I'm screwed. You know what I mean?
I forgot to take the line down.
Well, and it was already favored, of course, so it didn't kill him probably as much as it would have had it been like blue or if the Patriots were, winning or something because, yellow line. Yanni came on Friday, Dan, and gave it to us here on WagerTalk Today, and the syndicated hit it, and it was like even money in most spots. So, I thought of that. I was like, this is crazy. They're like literally showing the winning color when the team has a double-digit lead here. It's pretty interesting.
Oh, good stuff. All right, Steve Merril has not one, not two, but three $5 plays up at $5.
I can only get one, Andy. I can only get one because I've only got enough for 1/5 of another play. For some reason, I have a dollar bill here along with the 5, but.
All right, well, Steve, go check the couch. Go find some nickels. Go find some
loose
dimes.
Change. Found a quarter the other day. Actually, I saw some pennies down the other day, and I normally wouldn't pick up a penny. But now that they're not making them anymore, like if I see pennies, I'm grabbing them. It's
collector's item.
They're collector's items. Exactly right. These are pretty nasty pennies, but they're still worth more than a cent. It costs 3 cents to make a penny nowadays. That's why they discontinued them. But I think it's like 15 cents to make a nickel. It's even more expensive to make nickels. I think it's 13 cents. So, I mean, nickels are going to be next, right? We can't do Nickel Friday anymore.
It'll all
nickel
be
beers.
Eventually.
Andy lived on nickel beers at Indiana University.
I did. We had a bar that did penny beers until the first person went to the bathroom. That was a real thing.
That's an electric promotion.
That's awesome.
The bar would open beers, and they just gave you in little cups. Beers were a penny, and the bathrooms were like right over there, and you held it. And then the first person that would go to the bathroom, beers went to regular price, and everyone would start booing.
Oh, yeah,
yelling,
I can imagine.
Except then everyone would just run over and follow him, thinking, God,
you're a jerk. Thank you. You're a jerk. Thank you.
Like,
yeah.
This promotion must be back because the local CVS saw a spike in Depends purchases.
Yeah, I was just going to say, that's the first thing I thought of, Dan. I wouldn't do that, but like I was thinking, I guarantee there's some fraternity guy that was wearing Depends. But then again, it doesn't do you any good unless you have a really weak bladder, because if anybody else goes, it wouldn't matter at that point. But you don't want to be that guy or that girl.
Don't want to be that guy, Steve.
Don't break. That's a great promotion, Andy. I love that idea.
Well, guys, don't be that guy and not take advantage of $5 Tuesday. Steve's got 3 of the $5 Tuesday plays. Andy's got stuff up as well. All of them do. So don't be that guy either, Steve.
Or girls. Hey, we're equal gender offensive on this program, so don't be that girl either. Damn it.
Yes, that is very fair. We're equal opportunity offenders right here.
Right.
Steve, always a pleasure, buddy.
Thanks,
Thank
boys.
you, man.
See ya.
Have a good one. Check out Steve on the channel as well, guys. He still has his top 25 video coming. It's college basketball edition. So Steve, I think the video ended up being like almost a half hour because he breaks down anytime there's a top 25 team in action. So Steve doing the work for you guys. Hit that like button, subscribe, and a great way, give him a little $5 tip with the $5 Tuesday. Andy, what do you got rocking for today?
Big cash last night for a 4% NBA play. That makes 4 winners in a row, going for 5 straight tonight. It was a no-brainer to put up a $5 play for NBA. So we're running really, really good in NBA, running good in all sports. We had a nice 4% tennis cash overnight and this morning. We're running the 6 days for the price of 3. You get all of our plays: NBA, golf, cricket, tennis, rugby, anything. That's just $69. And we're running the 1-year special. It's $500 off, and you get a bonus 25% coupon that you can use on anything, anybody, and any handicapper. So that is a smoking deal that adds up. So Dan, 21 units in 2026. Yeah, 141 the last 3 years. Nobody at WagerTalk's won more. So got good short term, good long term, but it starts tonight with the 4% NBA best bet. That is up. Really, really excited about that. Feeling frisky here, Dan. The comments section. I'm feeling generous here. First off, Rex, you won, my friend. We had a little friendly wager. We didn't see you yesterday, so Rex, you get a free 3-day pass. So in the comment section after the show, make sure you do it after the show. Give us your WagerTalk username, and we'll apply a 3-day pass to your account. You correctly called you didn't even call the Seahawks spread. Alt spread. He called. So that was a real good one. And then, Roy says Finland men -1.5. I'm going to take a sprinkle of my tennis winnings, and I will play Finland -1.5. Roy, if it cashes, 3-day pass for you, my friend.
Oh, wow.
After the show
Look
is
at
over.
that.
Yeah. After the show is over, put your WagerTalk username in the comment section, and let's get this Finnish team.
All right.
Past the
I'm
finish
tailing Roy
line.
too. Then Finland men it is. And then Andy, if it loses, I'll go in the comments and bury him like people do to us when our plays. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. We love it, Roy. Keep the comments coming, guys. Let us know what you're betting tonight.
All right. Wow. Okay. So you've gotten lacrosse. You've gotten some Olympic hockey. We're watching the U.S. That's why I'm wearing my USA hoodie here. I'm watching the.
How we doing in curling, Andy?
Playing
on the Swedes.
Early. Yeah, U.S. is up 1-0. So, all right, let's bring in Jesse. We got to talk about what's up, Jesse. How are you?
Jesse.
Had a pretty good weekend, boys.
Oh yeah,
tell me about it.
I gave you a shout out on the show yesterday, Jesse, because I was talking about how I got buried. None of my Super Bowl squares hit. My props weren't really all that great. However, I had an 8-1 on Kenneth Walker to win the MVP, thanks to Jesse Schule. So at the worst, man, we had a at least break even night thanks to the breakdown you gave here on the show. So great work there, man. How you been?
Yeah, thanks for the shout out. I actually tuned into the show right at the moment. I didn't even hear about your losses in the Super Bowl. As soon as I turned on the show, it was Dan saying, "Our man Jesse Schule called the MVP," and I thought, "Damn, that's good timing."
That was a hellacious call. I wouldn't have had the plums to do that one.
And I also got to sound like a genius in front of all my friends because I was like, "Did you know no one's won the running back MVP since 1997? It was the Broncos who were in the Super Bowl." And everyone was like, "How do you know this shit?" And I was like, "Jesse Schule."
Yeah, at the risk of inflating my ego, Dan, do you remember my passing yards prop from 2 years ago?
Yeah, dude, that was what was that? That was like a 13-1.
That was like that. I think it was also 8-1, but it was Joe Burrow to lead the playoffs in passing yards, and he had a 200-yard lead on Mahomes. So everybody assumed, of course, Mahomes is going to throw for over 200 yards in the Super Bowl. And I said, well, probably, but maybe not. And of course, that's a couple big hits in the last 3 years. So that's something to be happy about.
Jesse the Future Schule. Jesse the Future Schule, the new nickname here.
Of course, I did party a little bit too hard over the weekend. Probably had a few too many bottles of red wine. Ate damn near a whole smoked picanha by myself. So I'm really behaving myself during the week this week on another water fast.
All right. Let's go to the NBA, Jesse. Let's talk Spurs and Lakers. Doncic remains to be out. Spurs look like they'll be on full mode ahead. Austin Reeves played last night, but he is still dealing with the little bit of an injury. I'm keeping my eye on this lineup for the Lakers because LeBron doesn't like to play back-to-backs. You're putting Austin Reeves a little bit compromised out there on a back-to-back. feels a little dangerous, but right now the Spurs are minus 8.5 over under 227.5. For me, it would be Spurs or nothing. Thunder took care of business against this Lakers team. How do you break this one down?
Well, there's not a lot of money to be made fading Andy Lang in the NBA, so I'm going to tend to agree with how you opened there. The Lakers coming off that loss to the Oklahoma City Thunder, and not an Oklahoma City team playing at full strength. Oklahoma City's missing 2 or 3 of their top 4 scorers as well. And LeBron played 29 minutes. It's not just that LeBron on the second game of a back-to-back, but you look at the minutes that both LeBron and Austin Reeves both played 29 minutes. And that's an indication to me that they're throwing in the towel here in the second game of a back-to-back, because as you mentioned, LeBron doesn't like to play back-to-backs at the best of times. And Reeves was operating on a minutes restriction. He was gradually bumping up his minutes, and there's no point in having a minutes restriction if you're going to bump it up to 29 minutes and then send him out there the next day. So I would be very shocked if Reeves plays many minutes at all tonight. I think the same is true for LeBron. And this has a double-digit blowout written all over it. The Spurs 36-17, 16-10 on the road. They're just 4 points out of first place in the NBA behind Oklahoma City. And they've absolutely owned the Thunder this year. With the injuries to the Thunder, I think the Spurs have a legitimate chance to pass Oklahoma City and finish first in the standings this season. They're healthy. They're getting healthy at the right time. Wemby's back playing his regular minutes. And then you got a guy like Stephon Castle going off for a 40-point triple-double against the Mavericks in his last game. I wasn't high on Wemby and the Spurs coming into this season. I wasn't as high as most people were. I'm not ashamed to admit when I'm wrong, because it doesn't happen that often anyways. But the Spurs are the real deal. I expect them to win this game by double digits. If I wasn't already scheduled to talk about this game, they'd be in the fade. I'd be fading the Lakers today, but I'll fade them anyways. Take San Antonio to win by double digits.
Move on here to a fade. And you don't have there's not a lot of options with teams to fade. And I appreciate you not taking the weasel way out by saying, the Pacers. Yeah, maybe the Pacers, who are openly tanking, are a fade. I don't like their chances tonight. So appreciate you not doing that. What's a team?
Well, that would just be disrespectful to the fade in general to do something like that, because that goes against the entire principle of betting against big public teams and pissing everybody off, and then getting a bunch of comments about how this guy doesn't know ball, and which I absolutely love, by the way. I encourage people to comment and hit me up with "you're wrong," and as long as it's before the game, because coming in after the game is not productive. But come at me, tell me how wrong I am, because my record, when I get a lot of pushback from the comment section, it's fantastic.
You live for it. So what's a team we're going to look at fading tonight?
As I said, pretty light schedule tonight. It was hard to find a team that people were going to be pissed off if I was fading, but maybe we'll have a few Rockets fans that don't like to hear this. But I want to fade the Houston Rockets. They're laying 8 points at home against the LA Clippers. Clippers come in with a losing record, just 25-27 on the season, 12-18 on the road. But they're coming off back-to-back wins against Minnesota and Sacramento. Of course, there was the James Harden trade. They got rid of Harden. I think this line indicates to me that people are down on the Clippers since they traded Harden. I don't think that's as big of a loss as some might feel it is. In fact, they're 4-2 straight up without Harden in 2026. They're 19-6 in their last 25 games overall. They've split the season series with Houston this year. The one loss at Houston by a score of 115-113. Kawhi Leonard has averaged 32.5 points, 8.5 rebounds, and 4.5 assists in the 2 games against the Rockets. And he's averaging over 30 points per game in his last 5 games overall. Yes, the Rockets are the better team. They have the better record. They're 32-19 at home, 32-19 overall, 17-6 at home, 4th in the West. They're coming off a 112-106 win over Oklahoma City. But again, that was an Oklahoma City team without 3 of its top 4 scorers. And The Rockets are just 3-7 against the spread in their last 10 games. They haven't won a game by 7 or more than 7 points in their last 7 games overall. To me, this looks like a game that should be closer than 8 points. The Clippers have been playing awfully well lately, and even though they don't have James Harden anymore, I believe the Clippers can compete in this game. I'll take the points with the LA Clippers. We're fading the Houston Rockets.
Jesse Schule, not afraid. Fade Houston, he says. And comment below before the game goes and let us know if you're agreeing or disagreeing with our man Jesse. Jesse, we talked about these great deals that are going. Obviously, $5 Tuesday, one of my favorite days, simply because folks who typically wouldn't try us out, maybe you got $5 laying around, you grab one of these guys' featured plays. What do you have up? And if folks are adept to buying with that great deal that you can get 6 days of all action for just the price of 3, what do they have coming towards this weekend as well, brother?
All right. Well, I do have a play in the Big Ten, my Big Ten best bet for $5 tonight. I'll have steady NBA props and sides and totals moving forward. And now that football season's over, and I've been doing pretty damn well with my money line picks here at WagerTalk. Since I joined WagerTalk, I am number 1 with money line plays, up 169 units since 2022 with my money line sides. NBA, I'm not the best. I'm not number 1 with NBA. Steve Merril just said he was number 1 with, I think, 5% NBA, but steady winning. And I'll give you the numbers. Up 17 units with NBA in 2026, up 43 units with NBA since 2024, 69 units since 2022, and 84 units since 2021. You can't buy a Lamborghini with those profits, but you can have a pretty good weekend. And if anybody wants to have a pretty good weekend, join me.
I love it. That's Jesse, the future, and the money line Schule. Always a pleasure, buddy. Good luck with your action tonight. We'll see you next week. Thanks, Jess.
See you next week, boys.
Yes, sir. He's not afraid of anyone. Drop the comments below. He welcomes it. He says, Jesse, what are you doing? You're an asshole. They literally commented that exact thing, Andy. And the algorithm doesn't know. So just keep those comments coming, man.
Why haven't we done a promo code? Why haven't we done a promo code?
Asshole. A-hole 30?
A-hole 30.
A-hole 30. All right.
Off.
I know Johnny's in probably one of his million meetings, but Johnny, don't worry. We'll work with you on a promotion here for Jesse here. Guys, if you're watching, you appreciate what we're dropping here for you. Hit the like button. We've already given you multiple free plays. Steve Merril with back-to-back hoops plays. Ralph Michels on deck. And before we're done here, Andy's also going to take you all around the world. So plenty of action here to come, guys. Please hit that subscribe button. Tell your friends to do the same. We're looking to get 500,000 subscribers is the goal for us here as we head on out of football season into what people call the slower time of year. Trust me, folks, WagerTalk Today ain't slowing down. You're going to want to be subscribed as we move forward here. So A-hole 3, it's a trio of you guys. Not a bad idea there. Not a bad idea there. That only gives out curling plays, maybe. We'll see. We'll see for you, Kira. Appreciate you tuning in. All right, let's bring in the pen. Ralph Michels joining the show. Oh, he's got this. Ralph, where were you last night? You got all those singles. That's looking good.
Dan, you had said, for those smaller bettors that only want to pay for a $5 play at WagerTalk on Tuesday, well, guess what? I'm very excited that we are now offering $7 plays every day of the year moving forward at Sports Memo. And it's not only WagerTalk people, it's all the cappers on all the WagerTalk sites. They're allowed to load one client play for $7 each and every day. It's a great way to try someone. If you're not a bigger bettor and you want to try some short-term or smaller price packages, make sure you check out sportsmemo.com.
I love that, Ralph. Sportsmemo.com, $7 plays, and we love this $5 Tuesday. That's now $7 every single day. And one thing that I'll say, because maybe folks who are tuning in, they say, oh, you're buying a play. What do you really get? It's not just, hey, here's what I'm betting. And they tell you, hey, good luck with it. there's analysis, when you're buying from a guy like Ralph, a guy who, likes going into databases. That's not the sole base of his handicap, but there's some things that you can do that arm yourself, and you learn the guy's handicapping style. So you could say, maybe this is a guy who I like, a spot guy, or maybe it's a guy that you like that's a trend guy. You get to try these folks out and find out how they arrive to the plays that they find. And it's their livelihood, folks. So you know that they find a method that works for them, and maybe it works for you too. Right, Ralph?
I was going through the comments. I think it was on this show for yesterday. And someone said, oh, they're just going to throw up a 1% prop. Guys, the rule is this. If any of our cappers load a play at Sports Memo, it has to be an actual client play at WagerTalk or on their main site. So these are not people just adding plays to try to get a $7 sale. These are actual client plays that they're betting, and each and every one of their all access clients gets. So it takes these $7 plays to an entirely different level.
I love it, man. Absolutely love it, Ralph. So that's Ralph Michels. Check him out, WT.buzz/RM. But Ralph, we got some action to get to here, my friend. Let's talk some of these college basketball games on the card for today. It's a huge slate and some actually really good matchups when you're running down the board here. We'll kick it off with you. We got UNC and Miami. We're seeing the short road favorite here for the Tar Heels. Pretty much a standard total that we're looking at here, Ralph. How are you looking to attack this game?
Well, number one, I'm going to guess this. Most people would probably come on this show and say, I absolutely have to fade North Carolina. Why? Mm-hmm. Well, if you look at Hubert Davis's quotes, it's pretty eye-opening. After they beat number 4 Duke and came from behind at home, Davis said, I am a bit numb after that dramatic win. And he goes, some of my players are as well. So you're at home, you're a home dog, you pull an upset against an AP top 5 team. What happens the next game? Well, that's why we go to the database. Conference home dogs that beat an AP top 5 team have gone 49-28, 64% against the spread. And if that team won as a conference home dog against an AP top 5 team, and you think now they have to travel, maybe it's a fade situation, not so fast. 28-16, 64% against the spread. So again, if you're at a bar talking, there's people that are going to say, this is a flat spot. Make sure you know the actual numbers before you speak without knowing what the data is. On the season, North Carolina now 19-4 straight up against the number 57 schedule. In ACC action, they're 7-3 against the number 14 schedule. So they've played a weak ACC schedule. But Miami is 18-5. Their strength of schedule is number 119. And while they're 7-3 in the ACC, they have played the 18th schedule. Yes, there are 18 teams in the ACC, so Miami has played the weakest schedule. That is a concern for me. In conference offense and defense rankings, these are conference-only stats. North Carolina, number 1 on offense, number 14 on defense. That has you thinking overs. Miami, 7 on offense, 7 on defense. Middle of the road for both. Now, Miami has missed a very important piece the last couple games. They lost to Cal at home. They went to Boston College. They struggled. And that is because True Washington, their point guard and shooting guard, has missed the last 2 games. He is still listed as game time decision. So he's a big part of this puzzle. If you tune in and he's not playing, that makes my upcoming North Carolina lean even stronger. At home, Miami only 1-7 against the spread with 5 straight ATS losses. Now, North Carolina's ATS numbers are in between. They're 9-5 ATS at home. But as a big favorite or a big dog, they're 4-0 against the spread. When they are playing conference games between the 7s, so +7 to -7 against conference teams, both home and away, they're 0-5 against the spread, failing to cover by 10.3 points per game. That's significant. If you fail to cover by 1 or 2 points, It depends on if the last shot went in or out. When you're failing to cover by double digits, that's a trend you want to pay attention to. We look at North Carolina. They are a balanced team. Of course, they are young. We saw this team struggle early. You have a freshman point guard in Dixon. You have a freshman power forward in Wilson. You have a sophomore, Powell, who's playing important minutes. And that's why early in the season, they lost to Michigan State, a neutral setting. They lost to SMU on the road. They lost to Stanford on the road. They lost to Cal on the road. Now that we're in the heart of the ACC season, we saw them go to Virginia and get a 5-point win. We saw them go to Georgia Tech and win by 16. I think the maturation process has started. Yes, that Duke win certainly helps these young freshmen to go to Miami and win this game. So I will do this. Miami is 3-6 against elite offenses or bad defenses with a high total of 152 or higher. But both covers were against teams as a 20-point favorite. The other cover was on the road. When they're playing a very good offense, they struggle. I think North Carolina does get this done. They get the win, and this young team gets even better after knocking off the Hurricanes.
I love it. Ralph Michels and people who have been paying attention. Yes, Frank was seeing the shirt color revealing the pick there, Ralph. So you knew that UNC, you were coming on here to talk UNC. So the outfit matched the way we were looking there.
I am not that smart, guys. Do not give me credit on that.
Ralph Michels, hey, before we got Wisconsin and Illinois, that's a much bigger spread. First, I want you to just let folks know what you have rocking here tonight. You mentioned the $7 plays at Sports Memo. We got $5 Tuesday. And I'd be remiss, we're talking about this just daily action, 6 days of action for just the price of 3, Ralph. This is a great time to hop in here. I know football is done, folks, but the grind don't stop just because NFL has turned the page, right, Ralph?
Absolutely. I only have one play today. College basketball, great college basketball run. Overall, 8-2 the last 10 plays, 80%. 31-14 my last 45 plays, 69%. My college basketball on a 30-13 run, 70%. With college basketball bets, 14-5, 74%. I do want to mention to all our viewers, my play is only available at WagerTalk today for the $5. Why? You don't have to worry about going to Sports Memo and saying, I want to buy someone's top play. The top play of any capper has to be loaded at WagerTalk. So if you go to Sports Memo today, you won't find me there. Only cappers with multiple plays get listed there. So just FYI, doesn't mean you can't go look at Sports Memo, but my play again, I only have one play today. Therefore, that single play is always loaded at your home site. That, of course, wt.buzz/RM, my shortcut to wagertalk.com.
Love it, Ralph Michels. All right, you got one game that was much closer, 1.5-point spread. So let's talk Wisconsin and the Fighting Illini. We're seeing Illinois pretty much painted on my odds logic screen. We're seeing 10.5. You think this is a rightful double-digit favorite here, Ralph? How are you breaking this one down?
Well, you look at Illinois, and really, you're trying to handicap the mental aspect of Illinois in this game. They're off a loss. They're 11-2 in the Big Ten. They were at Michigan State. They lost in overtime. And you want to talk about a coach that went ballistic. Brad Underwood, after the game, they were taking the ball out. Miami had a foul. And he said there was at least 4 legitimate fouls that Miami was trying to foul their point guard. They called none of them. And then they called a foul on Illinois' player. Miami makes 2 free throws. Then they call a cheap foul in Illinois. Miami gets 2 free throws. Michigan State gets 2 free throws to beat them in overtime, 85-82. You look at Wisconsin. Wisconsin had, guys, I misspoke there. The Wisconsin situation was the one where they fouled late and they had Gary Gard so upset in the 78-77 loss to Indiana. So my apologies on that. But listen to this. When a team When both teams are off an overtime loss since 2012, it's only happened 15 times. That's the situation we have here. We have two conference opponents, both off an overtime loss. FYI, the home favorite in that role of two or more, like Illinois, 12-3 against the spread, 80%. Wisconsin, 16-7 versus the number 52 schedule. In the Big Ten, they're 8-4 versus the number 14 schedule. So again, a weak slate of schedules. Illinois, 20-4 versus the number 15 schedule. 11-2 in the Big Ten, a weak schedule again versus number 12. Illinois is number 6-11 in conference stats. Indiana 1-4 on both offense and defense. But this Wisconsin team has played much better. I'll tell you guys one trick I like doing. BarkTorvik.com is a free site. It's very similar to KenPom, but you could put ranges or dates in there to find out how well teams are playing of late. If you go back to January 5th, the Monday after the New Year, these two offenses are number 1 and number 5 in the country in efficiency rankings. Wisconsin's guards have played very well. They don't like physical play, and Illinois is physical. That's why I'm going to be leading on Illinois. But this Wisconsin team started the season 0-2 ATS on the road. They have covered 4 straight road games by 12 points per game. The reason I'm leading with Illinois is this. Off a loss, they have rebounded. They are 3-0 and they have dominated, also holding those 3 opponents to very low scores and very low shooting. You add it together and you look at these teams coming back home off an away loss. Yes, Wisconsin's offense has become elite, but their defense is not what we're accustomed to. It's top 60, but just barely in that range. And I think Illinois can pull away in this game late. This is just a light lean for me, guys. You know, the other play is a lot stronger for me, but I cannot bet on either team because it's very difficult to not, if you don't know how the locker room feels, both teams think they deserve those wins on the road. Both teams now had to travel. Wisconsin playing a second straight road game. Illinois traveling back home after that Saturday game. Both teams playing on short rest. But again, all of that does have me with Illinois. Illinois has a deeper bench, and the quality depth in their 5, 6, and 7s clearly outrank what Wisconsin does.
Love it. And just the lean towards the big favorite there, which is why Ralph, of course, is not wearing an orange shirt. It's just a lean there on Illinois. Ralph, always a pleasure, man. Thanks for coming on. Best of luck with your plays, and we'll see you next week, buddy.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Ralph Michels, WT.buzz/RM. Folks, if you're liking the show here, still got some free plays to come. Andy's going to go over some NBA streaks. Are they live or are they unsustainable? We're going to do that in just a second. But while you're hanging out with us, hit that like button and subscribe. If you're watching on the rewatch, comment below and let us know which games you're betting on. We'll be chatting with you up until game time. And if you're just joining us, reminder, we're on Johns Hopkins this evening, 4 o'clock. Johns Hopkins, 2.5-point favorites over at the Green Book. I still like it at 3.5 if that's all you can get. But just reminding you, lacrosse play, and Andy's got one loaded, WT.buzz/AL. Both of those plays up. What's the other one? You'll have to go there to find out. But Andy, let's talk some of these streaks, buddy.
Okay, sure. Now that we're done with football season, we're going to dive here into some NBA. And there's a free tool here that I want to go over and show you guys to look at some streaks that are unsustainable and how you can figure out when a team is over or underperforming. So this is EV Analytics. It's free. Just create a login, and it's got all kinds of filters that you can look at. Last 10 games, home, away. So here's what I like to do with them. I like to see what teams are just performing way over their skis. There's an Olympic reference for you. So
well done.
There's a couple perfect examples today, and they have first half spreads, first half totals, first quarter spread. They have everything here. So I like to go to the spreads, and I like to look and see at the last 10 who's performing way above their season average. And we have a perfect candidate this year. The New York Knicks are 9-1 ATS in their last 10 games. Dan, for all you mathletes out there, that's 90%. That is unsustainable. So then I can go to how they have done this season. And this is a team that's 29-23, so a little bit over 50%. So I'm looking at this and I'm going, all right, the books are getting ready to adjust this because the Knicks have been on fire. We're going to see regression to the mean. So I would look at the Knicks moving forward to not cover some spreads here. There's also one that's going on for totals. And there's a team that is on the same 9-1 streak on the under, and that is the Boston Celtics. They are 1-9 to the under. I would say 90% is fairly unsustainable in this aspect. And we can also look now, this team is an under team this year, 19-34, but it's still way, way above this average. So if you're looking for a tool to try and figure out, hey, who's hitting this 90% mark and when are we going to start coming back to earth? I would say the Knicks against the spread. Now they're playing the Pacers tonight, so good luck with that. But then the Boston Celtics 9-1 to the under. And you could do this all day. You could go to the first half spreads, the first half totals. You could go to home and away. You can go to just about everything that they have on here. So that's a pretty good tool here.
Well, yeah,
and that is free.
And Andy, I love it because essentially what you're looking to do here, and this is something that, like Andy said, we'll dive into this just to give you guys some thoughts on maybe how to hop in or hop off some of these hot streaks. But essentially, the breakdown there is this is a team who has been right around the complex math, getting the 90% right off the top of the head. That's why Andy gets paid the big bucks here. But Andy, like it makes a hell of a lot of sense because a team who's performing right around average, right? They've been an average team who is currently on a hot streak. Folks are riding that. Folks are betting that. Now, you don't want to, as Steve Merril says, catch the falling knife or anything like that. But as adjustments come from the sports book naturally to kind of balance out some of that action, and also with the recency bias, we know gets baked into the line. It's just the nature of the beast here. Looking at how a team has performed year over year, much more indicator, as we know, the bigger sample size we have, the more predictive we currently believe that to be. The only time that I would maybe say, Andy, that this would be a difference maker is if it's right around a big trade that happened or a big injury that happened. You know what I mean? That's where you have to take those numbers with maybe a grain of salt, because what is the reasoning behind this big explosion? Is it just variance, or was it a big change that happened to one of these teams? So you can't just look at those numbers and worship at the altar of it. You have to take it and pair it with maybe diving into these leagues a little bit more. But I love that info, man. Yeah,
it's a filter. It's something to look at. Say, hey, I really like the Knicks to cover the spread. Go, God, man, 9-1. Is that a sign that they're on a massive run against the spread, or is that coming back to earth? And I will tell you, I see props that go on much bigger runs than ATS. The books will adjust the ATS and the over unders when they see, at the end of the year, when we go look at over unders in NBA, I'd be stunned if there was a team that was over 62%, like for the season. They're pretty quick to adjust those. I know Phoenix has been a really good ATS against the spread. Boston pretty good under, but yeah, that's a free tool for everybody that's out there. So
Andy, real quick before we go all around the world here. So this past year, Andy was Barf and I was the dude. Jay and Silent Bob, maybe in our future here, Andy. $15, little man. Put that shit in my hand. If that money doesn't show you owe me. Yes, that could be in our future, Andy.
See, what was nice about our costumes this year is they were really funny together on screen, but then we could just go our separate ways.
Yeah, and just go on with our life. That's why if you're just Silent Bob, if you're just Jay and Andy living in Indiana and me in Pennsylvania, we're probably not going to be at the same Halloween party. I guess we could FaceTime each other. At least that's a low lift, Andy. We could do it. We could do it just strap it to your chest. But we could do it just for the show potentially. But we have a lot of time, folks. It's February 10th. We'll have something for you cooked up come Halloween. But we got a hell of a lot to do before then.
Yeah, it's not even Valentine's Day. We have enough time to plan our Halloween schedule. So
very true.
6 days for the price of $3, $69 Valentine's Day special. All right, let's go all around the world. Let's do some free plays before we get out of here. All right, Knicks Pacers, Jose Alvarado over 7.5 points. I did this for free play video We've hit 4 of these in a row, and Jose Alvarado gets a great chance tonight. The Knicks play the 76ers tomorrow. This is a big spread. The Knicks playing the Pacers, and again, the Pacers, top 3 team that do not want to win. Do not be surprised if Alvarado plays a lot in the fourth quarter. First game with the Knicks, he had 12 points. A lot of that production was in the fourth quarter in a blowout. And this is an Alvarado that's going to play minutes in the playoffs. He's going to need to get reps and minutes with his teammates. And the Knicks' first leg of a back-to-back, don't be surprised if Alvarado plays a lot and goes over 7.5. This comes from Ben Burns off of our free picks page over at WagerTalk Wisconsin and Milwaukee over IU Indianapolis. Wisconsin very much underachieved according to the power rankings, 9-17 this season. IU 7-18. That was expected because of the terrible season that Wisconsin-Milwaukee's been having. You're getting just a straight money line at -110. Dan, Wisconsin has won 10 straight against IU Indianapolis. So this is kind of a no-brainer here. And then we'll do golf here. We got the Pebble Beach Pro-Am, Scotty Scheffler top 5, including ties. Danny's finished first and third this year, going back to last season. 8 straight top 5 finishes. And Dan, he was like, I think he was 4 shots outside the cut on Thursday. He finished third. That's how good this man is. Like, he had a horrible first round. Instead of missing the cut, the man fought back to finish in the top 3. So we're going to go over a lot more golf later today. Myself, Dan, and Jan. We're going to break down Pebble Beach Pro-Am, including a big DFS cash that we had. Dan, I am the golf DFS king. I have proven
you really are.
Last year.
It's actually insane. It's actually insane.
I wish why don't I have these like talents that like can do good for humanity, or like some $1 billion idea? No, what's Lang good at? Cashing in golf DFS lineups and in DraftKings. Like, listen,
better than nothing.
It is better than nothing, but
it's next to nothing, but it is better than nothing. Andy, just think, it could be worse. You could just be good at betting lacrosse. It could always be worse, Andy.
Oh God!
Comment below and let us know, folks. What are you the best in the world at doing that doesn't help the world? Let us know. We'll chop it up.
What's your random talent that really doesn't make a difference at all? Mine is being good at golf DFS. Wonderful.
There you go,
awesome.
baby.
So, all right. Thank you very much, guys. Did I double down on Scotty after last Thursday's debacle? Jan and I were having a fantastic golf week. We knew after Thursday our plays were looking good, and so we did. We had a huge one. We cashed a 4% on Live, 3%. And then we had a great golf week last week. So it was one of those where everything was looking good. There was no reason to push it. And I missed out. Noodles, I should have. If I would have doubled down every single day, that would have been an easy cash. So I left money on the table, but we are never going to complain about a winning week in a certain sport. So we'll have a bunch of plays this week, including a 4% live play, which if you played it last week, you know exactly what we're playing again this week. So, all right, that's going to do it for us. Great show. Rex and Roy were rooting on Finland. Rex and Roy, leave your WagerTalk username in the comment section below. Let's cash on. Let's see. We got men's hockey. We've got lacrosse. We've got NBA, we got college basketball. I mean, there's no other show that's going to give you that plethora of sports to bet on. So, Dan, thank you very much. Good stuff, guys. Great hat and sunglasses changing. Yes, my hair. I'm working to get my hair in top 5. Top 5.
That's pretty. Well,
what are the power rankings?
Out? Yeah, because probably Teddy's up there because Teddy is always coiffed.
Good. Kelly.
Well, that's unfair, though. You know what I mean?
Johnny
also,
Detroit.
She uses performance enhancers. She herself has said she puts extensions in the hair. So does that really count? You know?
All right. Yeah, we need the top 5 power hairdo rankings.
Marco is Marco number 1.
Marco's pretty high up there. Steve Merril, sometimes he comes in with the
Steve, aka Don't Call Me Will Ferrell. Yeah,
we got some doozies. Jesse got a haircut just to cut out the gray hairs on the side of his head because it was bothering him.
We're
so
just
he
letting it
pretty
rock,
good.
dude. I mean, you and
Good
I, we might
stuff.
be all gray by the end of this freaking year.
Well, if lacrosse doesn't hit and Finland doesn't hit, we're going to add a couple more gray hairs today. But I have faith. I have faith. Let's go. All right, guys. Thanks very much. We're going to be back same time, same place tomorrow. Good luck on your bets. We'll see everyone on Wednesday. Take care.